The night Lyra gave the moon her voice. On the night the sky began to break, when the moon glowed brighter than it ever had before, a single girl stood alone on a silent tower, and the voice she gave the moon would change the kingdom forever. Far beyond the warmth of the kingdom, where forests swallowed roads, and mist clung to the earth like memory, stood a lonely tower of pale stone. The villagers called it Moonreach. They believed it was empty. They were wrong. At the very top, in a circular chamber wrapped in shadow and candlelight, lived Lyra, 17 years old, silver-gray eyes, and a silence that had lasted far too long. Every midnight, she whispered to the moon, and some nights, the moon answered. Lyra had not always lived in that tower. Once, she ran through palace gardens, with her father beside her. His name was Orion Selim Vale, royal astronomer, dreamer of stars, a man who believed the sky was not something to look at, but something to understand. He would lift her into his arms and say, "Lyra, the stars do not lie, people do." She did not understand then. She would. On the night Lyra turned 10, the sky darkened without warning. The sun disappeared behind shadow. An eclipse unlike any recorded in royal history. But this was no natural event. The air grew heavy. The birds fell silent. And somewhere in the palace halls, a king began to panic. By sunrise, Orion Selim Vale was gone, accused of treason, of forbidden sky magic, of conspiring with prophecy. Lyra never saw him taken. She only heard the door close. They said the tower was for her protection. Protection from what? No one answered. The iron door locked. The seasons changed. Lyra grew. But the silence inside her grew faster. On her 17th birthday, as midnight struck, the moon seemed closer, brighter, watching. Lyra stepped onto the balcony. Her voice trembled. "Where is my father?" The wind froze. The stars flickered. And inside her mind, a voice ancient and silver whispered, "I did not take him. I hid him." The king had feared a prophecy. A child born under a silver eclipse would one day reveal his greatest lie. That child was Lyra. Orion had discovered the truth. The endless winter in the northern lands was not a curse. It was a bargain. The king had traded warmth for power, shadows in exchange for a crown. When Orion refused to stay silent, he was meant to die. But the moon intervened, hiding him between realms, neither alive nor gone, waiting. "Bring him back," Lyra whispered. "I can," said the moon. "But there is a price." Lyra's fingers tightened on the balcony stone. "What price?" "Your voice." The night held its breath. "You will speak once more, and then never again." Lyra closed her eyes. She remembered her father's voice. "The stars do not lie." Slowly, she nodded. "I accept." The moon turned crimson. The sky cracked like shattered glass. Wind tore through the tower. "Speak his name," the moon commanded. Lyra inhaled. For the first time in years, she screamed, "Orion Selim Vale." Her voice echoed across the kingdom. Mountains trembled, shadows shrieked, and the sky opened. A tear of blinding silver light. From it, a figure fell. Lyra did not think. She leapt. Light swallowed her. And then, arms caught her. Strong, familiar. "Little star," Orion whispered. She tried to answer. No sound came. Her voice was gone. Forever. But she smiled. And that was enough. In the courtyard below, the king collapsed as shadow creatures dissolved into ash. The northern ice began to melt. The bargain was broken. Truth had returned. Years later, Queen Lyra stood once more beneath a silver moon. Silent, unbreakable, free. And if one night you stand beneath the stars and feel the moon listening, be careful what you whisper, because it might answer.